Some of the people quoted, you have this guy Searles, who I'm quoting straight out of a logic textbook. And you begin to see why we would have problems with their definition of logic and what the purpose of their definition of logic was, which is this simplistic either-or logic, which helps to explain the universe in their terms. Okay? But it needs lineal thought, sequential thought. It operates on that. It can't deal with anything deeper than that. And that's what is being talked about in this section. Also, their definition of science and how lineality relates to that. What people have to understand is that rationalism cannot explain the existence of nature. It can't explain how nature was created. It fails. But it achieves the illusion of European control. See how it works? Okay. When you start questioning, then all of this is revealed. Page 60 discusses sacred time. It'd be good for you to understand that. That will help you to be able to critique lineal time or to put lineal time in perspectives. Page 60. And I think here we get some authors. Well, Mbidi makes a mistake with regard to sacred time. That's African Religions and Philosophies, if anybody has read it. He has been influenced by European thought. So that's what comes through, right? But sacred time, page 60, 61, in relationship to lineal time. One of the things that happens because of their insistence on lineal time is that you get a concept of the future, which again is abstract, which gives them a feeling of a lack of control and therefore causes anxiety. So you have science, which is then created in the reaction to that to help give them a feeling of control so that they can predict what is going to happen and what is going to take place. So you have this tension. Of course, science can't do that, so the anxiety stays. Then when you get into chapter 2, you will see that the religion, which is modeled on these same thought forms, is therefore lineal, is desacralized, is secular, can't deal with that anxiety either. So there's all of this uptightness about death, about, the future, or about what's going to happen to me and so forth, that is not really answered. Okay? And this all comes from the limitations of the way in which they think. Then, okay, one of the things that you're gonna be reading about are the ideas and the forms. These were creations of Plato's mind, the ideas and the forms. And what he said was that it was only this idea that was true, and only the forms. And they were absolute, they were eternal, and they were abstract. And that was all that you could know. And that life as we experience it is not real. And that the people in the cave only experienced this unreal life, which he called becoming. And that those who were able to be out of the cave, of course above, were the philosopher kings, or should be the kings, couldn't be queens, because he said women were incapable of logos, that is, of thought, right? Slaves also. But these philosophers who were capable of knowing these ideas and these forms, they should be the rulers of this ideal state, which was the republic. You should begin to see what is evolving here. The model that he is putting into place for subsequent behavior on a cultural level, collective behavior, behavior vis-a-vis other groups of people, other races, other cultures. You see, if we become the people in the cave who are incapable of knowing, then it's okay for us to be ruled by those who have these superior minds who are capable of logos, as he called it. We talk about reductionism, and we've already talked a little bit about that, how the universe then becomes reduced. Look at page 87. Rorschach is someone who affirms the argument that we're making, how everything is reduced to its simplest, not its simplest in a good sense, but to its most superficial, that's the word I should have been using, most superficial